Hello and welcome to the Infinity Project. Today I'll be focusing on a series involving games that made games what they are today. This will be a series running for however long it stays in fashion for. I hope I get many people watching because it's got quite a bit of factual information, and I want you to be very very interactive with me in this video. As you can see, is the introduction to the game is playing now. You can see you get to see me start character creation and the first dungeon. So this is the start of something hopefully quite big. Right, before I do start with all the information, I'm using a piece of software called DOSBox, which if anyone wants to know how to make it run, how to keep it running, if anyone has any issues using it, please send me a message. I'll do a video tutorial if you want me to. I don't want to do it unless a lot of people are desperate, because it's a lot of effort making these videos. I'd be happy to help you anyway. Yeah, so Arena. Today's RPGs vary greatly in size, depth, visual quality, and this was a glorious start to the wonderful world of RPGs. It doesn't look amazing at first glance, but the story, the gameplay is quite intense, and it's brilliant. Especially right at the start, you get a lot of you have to basically fend for yourself. You're thrown head first into a world where you know nothing. I could not find instructions in the game, so I basically had to work out myself. I spent about 2 hours just working out how to pick one object up, which allows me to get anywhere. So yeah, the game was originally developed to be a gladiatorial game where the player and a team of fighters would travel about a world fighting other teams in their arenas until the player did become grand champion in the world's capital. This never got to the coding stage, so you just didn't see. You did get to see an arena in Oblivion, which is the Elder Scrolls 4. It did feature the aspect that you became grand champion. You were in the Imperial City at the time, so yeah, it was the same. But it wasn't until it was revised soon after that the creation that it became an RPG. It began developing the features that made it what it is today. And you can see that from Oblivion. If it's easier for you, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant game, and it's gotten me really excited for Skyrim, because I've been waiting for that goddamn game for 5 years. So yeah, I don't know much about the story of this game, but from what I've researched, it's got quite a good story to it. A bit of a old school story with the Staff of Chaos and 8 pieces of the Staff of Chaos being collected, but this is what I found to be the main storyline. Emperor Uriel Septim VII has been imprisoned in another dimension, which in a article in the Black Horse Courier in Oblivion, you find out that he has actually been imprisoned in Oblivion. So yeah, place to know Oblivion. So yeah, and he's been impersonated by Imperial Battle Mage Jagar Tharn. The only way to retrieve him is to find the 8 pieces of the Staff of Chaos. The hero, after collecting these pieces, battles with Tharn in the Imperial City. That's the final boss battle. That's the main story. The first character you see, the first storyline character you see, is Rhea Silmain, which is a ghostly figure that guides you through the first dungeon and to find the pieces of the Staff of Chaos. Before she was killed by Jagar Tharn, she was his apprentice, you find. Jagar Tharn could not corrupt her, so he murders her, which it sounds like quite an evil thing to do, what you expect from an evil game, for an evil character in a game. However, she does find a way to hold herself together to guide the player at the first dungeon. The arena is very unforgiving toward at the start. It's a very it kind of throws you in head first into a world where you know nothing. It is just like you've just been thrown into wilderness and you have a butter knife, pretty much. Well, I couldn't even pick up a key at the start for 2 hours. I couldn't find my way around anywhere. The map is you can interact with the map pretty well actually on this game. You can click anywhere on the map and like type in what you want. You'll see here typed somewhere on the map later on, and that was just me because I've just figured out the magic of typing here on a map. It was absolute magic. But yeah, it's it does this really unforgiving element really does make you want to improve quick, and I mean quick. You start off being this lowly noob, and in about 5 minutes you are an expert at the game, because it is that you have to know everything right from the start. You'll see later on that I start battling creatures and I died the first time I got out of the dungeon because I just didn't know how to attack. I thought it was just pressing buttons. Nope, I had to swipe it across the screen. The combat on it is good, but it's very unless you expect it from the game, you weren't going to find it. It must have taken me about 3 hours just to figure that out, so that was just in the first. Well, I just got the broadsword for a second time, equipped it, and after about 3 hours the sword went across the screen and I just had a brainstorm. And it is more survival at the start than an RPG. You have no clue what to do, but yeah, it does make it quite intense and captivating, and it makes it quite addictive. And I certainly came back for more after I found out how to do it. I knew how to battle the world. There was no way in hell I was putting that for granted. That was not going for granted. Yeah, from this game to, well, from Arena to Oblivion, you see some very obvious differences. As you can see, the graphics on this game, they're more like Doom, because of the age. The technology wasn't as good as today, as you can probably tell. The terrain outside of the cities was randomly generated, so you couldn't find cities from the outside world. It was impossible, apparently. I don't know, because I played this dungeon and that was it. I kind of didn't have time. Bit sad really, but I will eventually get round to it, because I enjoyed the about 8 hours of just not being able to do anything. It was funny. Screaming down the mic to my mates on Xbox. It was the best time of my life. But yeah, from the outside of the game is randomly generated, so finding cities from the wilderness was impossible. So the only way you could get into a city is by fast traveling. So if you didn't know how to do that, which I don't, so yeah, it's likely that I am going to get very lost, and I'll probably make a video of it, a let's play maybe, if people want it, and just seeing what it's like in the wilderness, because by God, from what I've heard, it's very unforgiving like the start, so it should be quite funny. That's just a part of the history of the Elder Scrolls series. With the latest series, Skyrim is still to come, not long now. I'm not sure what the date is exactly, but it's very, very soon. You can see from the humble roots they can develop into something that's a great wonder of gaming, and yeah, it's magic pretty much. It's witchcraft. That's what I call it anyway. If anyone does want to play the game, as I said, I'll do a video tutorial. It's the DOSBox system is a bit confusing at first, but it's pretty easy to use. You just have to know the file directories, which is quite easy to find out. please rate, subscribe, comment, make this video your own. Just please give me feedback. Suggest any games you want to see. I'll find out something about them. Do a bit of a read around about it. Maybe come up with some facts that you didn't know. Yeah. I'll probably do like games. Well, I just want really old games that like the start to a good series. The start to something that maybe like set the benchmark for new games. Like Final Fantasy VII I'll probably do, because that was 3D RPG at its best at the time, of course. But yeah, I still love that game. So yeah, I'll definitely do something about that. It did. Yeah, I won't go on about it anymore. That'll be for another time. The next video I'll be doing is Settlers 2. So please comment, tell me what you think. Any feedback will be good. I'd be glad to do anything really. Well, not anything, but do anything regarding these videos. Yeah. I'll just get old DOS games are usually free, so I'll only do games that I can actually get and play legally. I don't want to breach any terms of use, anything, because that'll only bring me down. And yeah, here's a bit of combat for you. 2 goblins, and their axes of doom and despair, as I call them. I don't know if you can actually call them goblins, because they're more 2D images of more like bat faces on a green body. Well, green bat faces on a fat bellied body. But yeah, the gore on this is quite dramatic. They explode, and then you see an explosion of their blood, and yeah, me picking up treasure on this didn't go too well, actually. I did kind of have to press a lot of times to get it working. I don't know if that was well, I had a lot of lag, so I don't know if it was that because of the game or it was my computer. I'm not sure. So please, someone, if anyone does try it out, please tell me if you got the same problems, whatnot. Not far from the end now. Got about a minute. So yeah, you'll see the last little stretch. I kind of had to cut quite a bit of this dungeon off, so don't follow me exactly, because you'll get very, very lost. But there's a map. See, there's the here that I typed eventually. I was quite excited when I could do that. So yeah. You also had it gives you descriptions at the bottom, which kind of guide you and tell you when you can like camp somewhere to keep safe and not have enemies come after you. But I think I couldn't camp there because of enemies nearby, just like the new games, which I was kind of not surprised at because it's quite good. But yeah, I'm just going off on a tangent completely. Yeah, this I've enjoyed doing this video, so yeah, any more suggestions and I'll be happy to do new games. Please comment, rate, subscribe, like, dislike if you have to. I know it's not the right thing to say.